focus, guys. I do not believe we've had a video about checking accounts and savings accounts since the very first two videos I ever posted in this channel's history were about checking and savings accounts, guys. This is a rare subject we ever talk about, but we got some extremely exciting news that came out of the Robinhood app today, and this has been like huge news. I've never had so many people DMing me and asking me what's my opinion on this. This is massive, guys. This has made news not just out of the stock market community, but just in the community in general. Like, this is unbelievable, okay? Robinhood, the startup upending stock trading, goes after banks with a 3% checking and savings accounts. That's nearly 30 times what most banks will give you as far as what, the rate of return you can get on just having your money in a checking account or savings accounts. Like, most banks give you like maybe 0.01% or 0.03% or something like that. So to get a 3% rate, guys, like, this is massive, massive news that you can just have your money in a checking account, a savings account, and you can be earning 3% on this, okay? Popular online stock trading platform Robinhood is offering checking and savings accounts with an interest rate that is roughly 30 times higher than the national average. Robinhood checking and savings accounts have no fees and no account minimum, so you don't have to have a certain amount of money to get in on this 3%, okay? Building off of the company's free stock trading model that ushered in 6 million users and a $5.6 billion valuation in the last 5 years. This app just came out of nowhere. They basically allowed people to place trades for free. When you buy a stock, sell a stock, you get to do it for free, versus most businesses historically had charged at least $9.95 for that. Most platforms have brought it down to about $5 now, but they've just completely changed the industry in terms of the amount of people that can now trade stocks, with small amounts of money and whatnot. So that's huge. And now they're going after the banking sector. This is one of the most aggressive moves I've seen in the banking sector in my lifetime. Like, this is insane, guys. The Robinhood co-CEO says, "We as a company are going to make the financial services industry more inclusive, and we are going to do it with zero commissions, a lower cost structure, and by relentlessly automating and building an engineering first company," said the co-CEO. He says, "We're charging no fees, period." Guys, this is a massive, massive news in the financial space, because the banking sector has been so monopolized, and there just has not been a lot of innovation around banking for such a long time, that for Robinhood to come in here and take this seriously and announce something like this is massive, massive news, guys. Like, I cannot reiterate this enough, okay? Robinhood is now taking the disruption no fee model to checking and savings accounts, a fundamental way retail banks make money. But there's an important distinction between what the startup is offering and a traditional bank. The Robinhood savings account is SIPC insured and not FDIC insured, which means the customer essentially opening a brokerage account that has different protections. So when you read that sentence there, it's a little scary. It's like, oh my gosh, am I getting something less? And so I really researched this, and what I found is there's not much difference, okay? So SIPC protects you against the loss of cash and securities. The limit of SIPC protection is $500,000, which includes $250,000 limit for cash, okay? Most customers of failed brokerage firms, when assets are missing from the customer accounts, are protected. Whereas FDIC, it's pretty similar, okay? FDIC, your money's insured up to about $250,000. So there's not a massive, massive difference there from what I'm seeing as far as your protection goes, okay? Now, there is a little bit of downside here. We'll talk about this in just a second. Now, something I think is amazing. So I signed up for this probably within the first few hours of hearing about this. I signed up for it. I was like, because here's my situation. I always keep quite a bit of money in cash, okay? So as someone that might keep tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash, right? You can probably make a good amount of money on a 3%. 3%, $75,000. We're talking that's over $2,000 basically you make per year just for having your money in an account, right? Versus a traditional bank where I'm making nothing on my money. Like, I'm literally making nothing on my money when it just sits there, when I'm just holding cash or something like that. Now that I can make 3% on that money, that's a big, big change. So I signed up for this, and there was already about 180,000 people that had signed up for it. I was number 170,000, guys. That's ridiculous, okay? And then 2 minutes later I checked, and there's already another 2,000 plus people had signed up, all right? Wait till I show you the number that I just logged in before I did the video here, right? So this is exciting, exciting, exciting news for anybody that is looking to try to make some percentage of gain on their money without having to risk the money, basically, because it just sits in an account. Very, very exciting stuff, and especially for people that just keep cash laying around, which I suggest everybody always keep some form of cash laying around. That way it can cover emergency expenses, and you can be ready if you want to buy stocks on a massive dip or a recession comes or something like that. Like, you have some cash laying around. I always try to keep a minimum of 10 to 30% of my money in cash, so it's ready to go whenever I'm ready to deploy that money or something like that, okay? Something that was interesting. So I'm new to Robinhood. I logged in, I looked at some of the most popular stocks. Apple, obviously the most popular company in the world. GE was number 2. I'm like, oh, why are so many people interested in GE? Ford, number 3. That was another one that surprised me. I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't know why that one's up there. Facebook, I understand. Kronos, oh my goodness, guys, like an MJ stock up there, that amazes me. Microsoft, I can definitely understand. AMD, I can understand. That has a huge following. Aurora Cannabis, another MJ stock that I'm like, dang, well, like that's really one of the most popular stocks. Fitbit and GoPro, like, what, are you kidding me? Like, those stocks are like non-existent nowadays. Amazon, I can understand. Netflix, I can understand it's overvalued, but I understand why it's such a popular stock. Snapchat, I'm like, why the heck would that be on the list? But needless to say, some people are saying it's because a lot of people got those stocks for free when they signed up for Robinhood. So maybe that's why those stocks are so heavily tracked, like the Snapchats and GoPros and Fitbits and whatnot. But I'm like, I don't see why those ones are tracked so heavily. Okay, so if you didn't already know, this Robinhood app, it was basically created about 5 years ago. Already has a $5.6 billion plus valuation on it. And this is as of 7 months ago. Now that they're getting into the banking sector, this company might go to be, tens of billions of dollars as far as their valuation next time this comes around. Like, and especially when I see how many people are getting signed up for this is incredible, okay? And Robinhood, the way they probably look at it is they want to get everybody in their suite of products. And imagine if they can be the financial services company of the future, as far as checking accounts, savings accounts, placing trades, all that type of stuff, have the entire business model in one and have the lowest cost structure of anybody and have the most brand loyalty of anybody. Like, that is a really big thing, okay? Now, as far as Robinhood, there are some downsides. You asked me why I've never switched from the company I use, which is Fidelity Investments, to Robinhood. And it's things like this that I see sometimes coming out of Robinhood. Robinhood options trading stopped working. Customers are furious over money they said they lost. This just came out today, okay? Basically, Robinhood options went down for a ton of their customers, and a lot of customers are mad. You can read through some of these comments on Twitter and whatnot. There's a gauntlet of them. Basically, options, they couldn't even place trades, and they lost a lot of money, a lot of these customers, because they couldn't even log in. So if you're wondering, like what I always tell people is, generally speaking, like if you have a lot of money, I always suggest like Fidelity Investments. If you have a lot of money, like we're talking like at least tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars, like Fidelity Investments, I love them for a million different reasons. And their customer service is so good. I've never had an issue with something going down. I can call them up and speak to them at any time, like a live actual person, like even if it's like 3 in the morning. So I love them personally. And like, I've never switched over to Robinhood fully just because I'm looking at it and I'm like, with these type of issues still at this point in time, they're still working, they're still building that company out. But there's no doubt about it, I'll keep some money in Robinhood accounts just to get that interest, basically that 3%. I'll start keeping cash in there just for that interest rate. But Robinhood has a huge potential to, be devastating to so many companies out there when you're talking about free trades and you're talking about 3%, like 3% nowadays, guys, is like ridiculous, okay? Like back in the day, yeah, 3% wasn't that much, but nowadays it's like insane if you can get 3% on a checking or savings account. Like I said, on $75,000, which they're supposed to give you 3% up to $75,000 from what I've seen, on 3%, that's $2,250 per year that you basically get for just having your money in an account. Like you're not really taking any risk. It just sits there in your account. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Now, what's crazy is I prepped this video, all these slides you've just seen. I prepped all these earlier in the day. Then I had to go talk to my accountant and whatnot. And so then I come back home, right? And I'm getting ready to do the video, and I just wanted to see what spot I was now in the Robinhood, and I was around the same spot, but what I've seen is nearly the amount of people that have signed up has doubled in just a matter of a 3 or 4 hour span. So now there's already 385,000 people that have signed up, and this news just broke today. Like, this is ridiculous. There's a good chance that will be well over 1 million by this weekend at some point in time, guys, which tells me there's a massive amount of interest in their savings and checking accounts and whatnot. So that's really exciting for Robinhood. I can't wait to see where that valuation goes over time. We'll see if they ever become a public company or how long that will take. But as of right now, you can't really invest it unless you know somebody high up at the company or something like that. So very interesting. I want to know what your guys' opinion is on Robinhood. Any positive things you have to say about the Robinhood app, any negatives you have to say about the Robinhood app. I would just love to hear your guys' opinion down there in that comment section. That way, people that have never signed up for Robinhood in the past can kind of look at it and say, is that something we're interested in or not really interested in? I would love to hear from you guys as always. Thank you for watching and have a great day.